Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at purposely.com.
Skipping ahead to her memorial, which was a month later, there was this period in the memorial where we did some worship during the memorial. And my dad, I just remember looking over to him. I was pretty heartbroken, just sitting there, just crying, just thinking about, I'm actually losing my sister, like she's actually gone. I looked over at him during this worship song and just seeing him have his hands in the air, just praising God.
Stuck in addiction, lost in despair, lonely, isolated, and then Jesus. Welcome to Brought Back to Life, a podcast where we explore how Jesus changes everything.
I'm Bauer, and I have a faith in God. It really became real to me after my little sister unfortunately tragically passed away about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now. It's pretty sad. I was born in Malacatan, Guatemala. It's a small little village down in Guatemala, which is a third world country. But I was adopted as an infant, which was honestly such a blessing to be able to be raised in Seattle, in the area, not Seattle, but the area. My dad's a pastor. My mom is a nurse, and it was really cool to be able to have those parents and an experience that I'm definitely like looking back on. It's like God was the reason I'm here, honestly. But I grew up in Auburn, Washington, and over the first 7 years of my life, my parents had adopted 5 more siblings. Wow. So yeah, it was definitely really cool to have siblings, whether they're blood or not. I mean, now looking back, it's like they're my family and I love them for sure. Yeah, I was raised in a Christian home. My dad being a pastor, I feel like that created a lot of pressure for me to kind of live a good life. We grew up in a big church, so there's a lot of people that would always say hi to me, and I had no clue who they were, and honestly, to this day, still don't know who they are, all of them. That created a lot of pressure for me, and it didn't really allow me to have faith in God. Like, I feel like I understood the Bible stories or like could recall them in Bible in like Sunday school, but I never truly had a faith in God. It was just a Sunday thing. So growing up, that was kind of what God was to me. And then I graduated high school in 2019, and that was about when the pandemic hit. So when the pandemic hit, I didn't really have to go to church anymore. And honestly, I stopped going to church because nobody went. And that was definitely one of those moments because God had been consistently in my life through my parents, through just wanting to be able to, I guess, elevate my family name, not do anything to hurt my family in the world. That's been a big struggle for me, is like, how do I present myself to the world to be able to just to be able to uplift my family name. And that's definitely one of those things that the enemy uses to be able to, against me. That's hard to sometimes work through. But when COVID hit and everything started to slow down, I mean, I never really paid attention to God in the first place, and I really didn't. I mean, I didn't have to go anywhere, so just kind of there. But over those next few years, like I was my early 20s. I mean, I'm 24 now. So the pandemic hit, I was 20 and turned 21, 22. Those were just fun years. Like, I feel like I was just having fun with friends. I was just kind of working, enjoying life. Like, there was nothing really going on, right, besides just having fun. And I feel like when you're just having fun, sometimes you just don't think about anything real. And that's kind of what it was. And then February 28th, 2023, everything kind of came crashing down. My little sister went to the hospital that evening, pretty late, like really late, in the middle of the night, and tragically passed away. Over the next week, she was fighting for her life in the hospital. And it was honestly one of the strangest, longest, and slowest weeks of my life that I just felt like, what is actually even happening right now? Because nothing felt real. Seeing her lifeless body in that hospital bed with all the medical things hooked up was pretty hard. I look back and never once did I pray. Never once did I think, I need to pray. It was more so I was shocked during that time. Seeing my family during that time was one of the hardest things, as all of us grieved in different ways. I mean, we're still grieving in different ways, but just trying to be there for my family, but not having God at all in my mind looking back was pretty hard. But skipping ahead to her memorial, which was a month later, there was this period in the memorial where we did some worship during the memorial. And my dad, I just remember looking over to him. I was pretty heartbroken, just sitting there, just crying, just thinking about, I'm actually losing my sister, like she's actually gone. I looked over at him during this worship song and just seeing him have his hands in the air, just praising God. And as that happened, I remember thinking to myself, like, there has to be something here. Like, if my dad, the leader of my family, the one who we all are kind of going to, who we looked at for the support, for how to act in the world now, if he can raise his hands, there has to be something there. There has to be something. And that was kind of all that was for that time being. I feel like there was a lot of spiritual warfare going on those next few months where I'd have an encounter with God, but then immediately get distracted by something and forget about that or just not think about that. And yeah, I started to just wrestle with, what is the point of life? Like, what is my purpose? Why are we even alive if we're all just going to pass away, if these tragic things happen? And it was kind of that way for the next month and a half. And I felt pretty lonely for that time. I'd moved to Seattle by myself, and it was, looking back, that was a great decision. I'm so glad I did. Like, I do not regret that. At the time, it felt like a mistake as I was alone for the first time since my sister passed away, and it caused a lot of lonely nights for a little bit. But in May, I remember running past a waterfall, and this waterfall lit up in a way that I was looking at it as I was running past. It was a brief moment where I was thinking to myself, there has to be a creator of the world right now. Like, there has to be. This did not just happen. And again, it was kind of one of those moments that was it. That was everything I was thinking about God for that moment, because I got distracted by the race that I was in.
Brought Back to Life is brought to you by Seattle's Union Gospel Mission. The mission started almost 100 years ago, but some things just have never changed. They are still motivated by faith and hope. They want everyone to know that no matter what their circumstances are, they are loved and cared for by us and by God. They take a different approach. It's highly relational, and they go to the root causes to break the cycle of homelessness. Lasting change takes time and effort. There's no quick, easy fixes for this, but it is possible. And you can be part of the solution. If you want to be part of the story for why someone was saved and why our city was restored, you can take action. Whether serving a meal, teaching a class, delivering a blanket, or even just sorting donated items. Be inspired. Volunteer or donate at ugm.org.
It was July of 2023. It was supposed to be my sister's 19th birthday, and the week of her birthday was a pretty hard week. I felt pretty alone. I feel like I was really sad, as it was the first major event since she had passed away that we just missed her a lot. And I really just wanted to be comforted. I wanted a sense of peace back. I wanted a sense of belonging again. And I had tried many things, reading. I had tried listening to music. I had tried smoking weed a little bit. I had tried just anything that the world could offer, and nothing really felt good. Nothing felt fulfilling. And then it was the Saturday, so it was a Saturday night. I just felt so lonely, just around midnight, just sleeping, just trying to fall asleep, could not fall asleep, and I was just so sad, like I was heartbroken. Supposed to be her birthday a few days ago. And in that moment, I just thought, let's just try to listen to worship music. A random thought, it just filled my mind. Let's try a worship song. So I was actually looking for a different song than the one that I ended up watching the video of. But I remember putting on the video for What a Beautiful Name by Hillsong. It's a great song. I like that song. And I was watching that video, and I just remember thinking, like, these people, that's got to be a cool experience to be there, and they're all just worshiping God. And as the song progressed, I remember thinking to myself, why can't I just worship God? And I remember looking up in the air, just looked up. I mean, it was my ceiling, but I just looked up out my window, and Jesus, I asked, are you there? and his presence, I just felt his presence. It was the most comforting, most amazing, most like just, I cannot describe that feeling. I've never felt anything so amazing. It was just like a big warm hug. Like he wrapped me up and he was like, I'm here. Like, you're going to be okay. Like, I've got you. And that was just such a special, unique moment, because I knew then that in the midst of my running, in the midst of me rejecting God over and over, he was still there. He was still chasing after me. And it was such an amazing, amazing moment. And pretty much after that, I've decided to follow Jesus, lay my life down every single day. I mean, my life's not my own anymore. And just, if God will chase after someone like me who has sinned like me, he can do that for anybody and anyone. And it is really, really such a cool thing that we have a savior like that for regular, everyday people like me. I mean, I'm not special by any means, but God still loves me personally. And I found the church in Seattle. It's a pretty cool place to go, just grow my faith and build a community of other believers that I can do life alongside. And it's been such an amazing experience to be able to pursue God and in the workplace and just figure out what that looks like as a young adult. I mean, I'm still figuring my own life out, but I think that if I just trust God every single day and go to him for everything, I mean, you can mess up, but you're not really going to mess anything up, because God will use everything. He'll use all of the mistakes. He'll use all of the things that shouldn't happen. I don't think everything happens for a reason, but I think God can use every single thing and nothing can mess up his plan, because he has a perfect plan. One of the things when I think about what I've been through, I mean, we all go through different things and we all have different experiences. Honestly, I couldn't heal myself. Nothing I could have done could have healed myself, or anyone in this world could heal me. Everything that has happened, every experience that I've had since that has been comforting has come from Jesus. And I think, honestly, just reminding people, whether they're believers or non-believers, through how I act, how I do my life, how I read my Bible, and just focus on him in my job, in my everyday life, at the gym, different things, that Jesus is the one that provides it all, and he's the one that can heal. He's the one that holds everything together. Just reminding people of that, hoping that they can too turn back to him, because it's not us, it's not me, it's him.
Do you want to share your Jesus story or know someone who should? Let us know at comments@purposely.com. If you loved Brought Back to Life, support us with a 5-star rating and review.